Okay, update time from last night. Okay, now that it's over, I suppose I can talk about it now. Back in May, we had an incident. I mentioned it in a previous video, but we had an incident at the library where I was still in the Buick at that time, and it was a rather unusually hot day. It was in the 80s and 90s, and so we had the cat with us, and we, of course, because we didn't quite check on the cat as regularly as the animal control guy would like us to, and I ended up getting a ticket for animal cruelty, and has started the whole drawn out court process. So trying the community service, which was no problem, I just did what I was already doing up at KGNU because it's a nonprofit, so it fit. That was done quick. Deferred sentence, the suspended sentence, I think. So no, but the main thing was I was required to take a pet care class. And if I'd done that, then the whole thing would have been away like it never happened. But part of the thing is there was no guidance or support whatsoever from the court. I had to find this myself and pay for it myself. That took a good long time to try, and finally found something at Boulder Valley Humane Society. It was still $75 for an hour, and there's like a couple weeks I was supposed to do it, but and we got that's when we got the van and tried to get up there, but it's not road ready, right? Not even for a couple blocks, so it overheated. We got as far as Superior, which for those who are not familiar there is about halfway on a fairly long trip, and you just couldn't make it. And I barely managed to limp back to our parking spot back here. And since technically it was a no-show, I'd have to pay again for another reservation. And by this point, it's like the earliest opportunity was until well after the deadline I'd been set. And it's just getting further every time I call back. And you got to pay when you book, so we couldn't book it. At this point, if I were to call now, it'd probably be like after the first of the year. So it's just, we can't do it. It's impossible to do it now. So basically, and I found out at this point, in the court, that it's only a misdemeanor charge. If I had known that, I would have taken the hit back in July, and it would have been over and done with. But I thought we were talking something a little more serious, statute-wise. So played this out probably longer than I should have. But anyway, it's over with now. So now the only thing holding us back is, getting the working vehicle and getting the money for the gas. Which, unfortunately, money-wise, it's spent about... We started the day close to $40 all told, and I spent most of that just getting back and forth to the damn court. So... once again, we're back to, PayPal, Patreon, and anything else anybody can think of, frankly.
If anybody has a Wells Fargo account, just use Zelle.
Yeah, Zelle, that's another thing you get. Let me know in the comments down below, and we'll figure it out from there. But the quickest way is PayPal. Patreon be good for long term because I need patrons. I need subscribers too. It seems to have plateaued at 570 for some reason. So we need to get this thing going here, because I would like when I get to Virginia, get this thing into high gear and be able to do some super chats and get some sponsors and really kick it in here. Because the more I'm looking at Virginia in the area, it's like the more I'm liking, because there's a store there, Second and Charles. We have one out here, and I rather like it. Used bookstore is not a sponsor, although I'd like to have them a sponsor one day. One of the aspects, they use bookstores and video games and records and music, but they also one of the things they have up front is a free bin for the stuff they just don't feel they can really sell, or they have too much of, or whatever. It's not bad stuff. A lot of it, top grade CDs and books or whatever, they just have too much of it, and it's not worth it for them to sell it, so it's put out front. I've gotten stereo equipment out of that.
And a working DVD player.
DVD player with a remote and lots of CDs and DVDs. I've gotten season sets, out of the thing. Lots of books and CDs and some comics. And they have one out there. It's right next to a Hobby Town too. So one stop and a Dunkin' Donuts right nearby. So one-stop shopping right there. So that's part of we get out there, and it's like I will be ecstatic if we can do it by the end of the year. At this rate. We still, things are proceeding afoot to get the van working and get out there Although the sooner the better, because the clock is ticking as far because friend we're staying with, she is sworn on a stack of every holy book you can get your hands on. She is never signing a renewal on that lease in that place. So we have until April once we get out there. But I think once we get out there, it should go pretty quickly because the houses are cheap, and I got a VA loan coming to me still. And I've got a list on Trulia, a list of houses that look like 3-4 bedroom houses for below 30,000.
And the radio market.
And the radio market is lower too, so I should be able to get a gig out there without a whole lot of problems. Even if, either in Norfolk, Virginia Beach, or Raleigh, either way, they're still well below out here in Denver. But I would prefer Virginia just because of historical reasons, and again, on the other channel, I want to do some historical videos for that, and get into colonial Virginia and stuff like that. But things are happening. Things are slowly starting to untie us. We are no longer bound to this state now, except by inability to leave.
I just want to freak out.
Yeah. Yeah, someone's really enjoying a hotel room so we can actually get cleaned up and do some laundry would be nice too. But personally, I would prefer to get the van working first so we can drive ourselves there and not have to worry about, is the van okay back at McDonald's, or they decided to tow it finally. Because it's every time we have been separated from whatever vehicle we've been at, things just go weird. And I'm sick and tired of that nonsense.
I'm even not being clean.
Even if the vehicle's not working, I want it on hand. I want it nearby. So again, anybody in the Arvada area, it's like we need a new radiator, and we need someone who can figure out why this thing is not running. Because it was after our little attempted trip to Boulder, we got back, and the next morning it started right up. It ran smooth. It was knocking a bit, but I think that's because of the burned oil. And it revved. You're fine. It wouldn't do anything. But then one rev too many, and it just stopped. And tried to start it, and it would just it's trying to engage, but it just wouldn't do anything. So it may be we've already pretty much determined it's not the timing belt, because things would be bad going that way. We eliminated some of the sensors because they'd still be trying to do something than what it's doing. It's not doing anything. And one thing I need do now that my schedule is no longer tied up with court dates and lawyers. I'm gonna get a hold of a Nissan dealer, service department, to find out if they have any ideas. Maybe there's a recall out there we don't know about. They have an idea about this, but anybody else got any bright ideas, chime in, please. Whether it's one thing that went out or a couple things that went out, who knows? Ignition module, as good a thing as any, I guess. I don't know. But the AutoZone guy would recommend not just blindly buying parts in the hope that this is the one, that's it.
Yeah, if anybody knows a friendly Hell's Angel, send them our way.
All right. Again, PayPal, Patreon. Give off and give early. Throw it at us. Come on. Because right now, I think our net worth is now down below $5. If that, yeah.
All I know is I want to get clean.
Yeah, we need to get cleaned up here. We need to do laundry and hose ourselves down a few times. Anyway, and hopefully soon, now that I'm no longer going to be distracted, I'll start working on those fan film reviews. Again, starting with Star Trek Continues, I think from there we'll go on to taking a look at next New Voyages and Phase 2. Though that looks interesting. That one morphed over the years. But I'll tell you, the early ones where James Cawley is playing Kirk himself, I like to imagine that as fourth season where Shatner doesn't resign, Hawaii Five-0 has not picked up, and Jack Lord is now available and willing to come on different terms than he was the first time he was asked, and he comes on as Kirk. They just do a Darren Stevens, they just recast. And it's like, this is the Jack Lord years of Star Trek. So. And we go on from there, you know. But anyway, catch you soon.